All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to go through Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners weekly edition. We're going to go through what happened last week, but today is the last day of the month, so I also want to go through what happened in the month of July, and I want to talk about the difference between what happened in Bitcoin versus what happened with the Bitcoin miners. Okay, so this is the 1 week performance last week for the Bitcoin miners, including Bitcoin. So you're going to see the first thing that jumps out at you is this is a mostly red chart. Now, it's not all red. There were a few Bitcoin miners that had a good week and that were in the green. So I'd like to start out by looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin was down 2% on the week. So Bitcoin had a very, very flat month. We're going to see that when we look at the month to date. But this is yet another week, all 4 weeks so far in July, where Bitcoin had very small moves. So 2% to the downside. That left most of the Bitcoin miners in the red. Riot did not move 1 penny on the week from Friday's close of this week to Friday's close of the previous week. So Riot and Marathon at -1 and 0% were the two biggest. We did have some big movers to the upside. Core Scientific had yet another good week. So 18% moved to the upside. They move closer and closer to coming out of Chapter 11 is what everybody's assuming here. Their operational performance is strong. The question remains, what is going to be left for the stockholders? So people are putting a big bet on this. Stronghold, which spent the first half of the year not really moving, did have a great week this week, up 13%. So those were the two big movers on the week. You're going to see down at the bottom here is Cypher at -19%. Cypher's one of the top performers on the year. Cypher's market cap is one of the largest out of all the Bitcoin miners. So I think this week they just, there was a little bit of profit taking and they gave back a little bit of the massive amount of increase they've had so far year to date in 2023. If you enjoy this content and you want to see more, please remember to subscribe to the channel. It also does help the channel out a lot, so it's much appreciated. Also, you can smash the like button and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Okay, before I move on, I want to show you last week's chart. If we just take a quick look, this is the week ended July 21st. So this was the previous week. Also, mostly red. You're going to see Bitcoin was down 1%. But last week, very, very red, all the Bitcoin miners. So this is last week. And then here we go. This is this week. So back-to-back weeks of a little bit of a pullback. But with all that said, I want to show the month to date. Because even with those two difficult weeks, July, for the most part, was an exceptionally good month for the Bitcoin miners. Okay, so now this is month to date. So this is for the 4 weeks ended July 28th. You're going to see almost all the Bitcoin miners were in the green in the month, and some of them had gigantic moves to the upside. We'll take a look. Like we talked about, Bitcoin was down 3% on the month. So a very small move for Bitcoin, but this is where the Bitcoin miners are doing some catching up. They had been lagging behind. This was a great month, in my opinion, for the Bitcoin miners, even though they've spent the last 2 weeks cooling off. If we look month to date, whereas Bitcoin is down 3%, there's only 3 Bitcoin miners in the red for the month, and they are Mawson down 3%, BitDeer down 9%, Argo Blockchain down 9%. Those are the only 3 that were in the red. If we go to the other side of this, Gree was up 121% on the month. Stronghold up 113% in July. TeraWolf has had a good year. They were up 95% in the month of July. So that's a big mover. TeraWolf's market cap is starting to grow. They have a decent sized market cap. Both Gree and Stronghold, which had these larger moves, these are still nano cap stocks even after these moves. TeraWolf is a much bigger company. We'll look at that. We're going to look at all the market caps in a few minutes. Okay, now RIOT Blockchain, which is the largest by market cap out of all the publicly traded Bitcoin miners, that was up 55% in the month of July. Let this chart serve notice that these are extremely volatile stocks. Even after 2 weeks of downward pressure, just on the month in July, these stocks were still up 40 or 50%. Some of them were up 100%. So very big move. So obviously high risk, high reward. I like to remind everybody, this is not financial advice. I can't tell you to buy these stocks or sell these stocks. You guys have to make up your own mind, do your own due diligence. I'm just trying to show you the information and share with everybody as much information as I can. In general, the vast majority of these Bitcoin miners had either good moves or great moves to the upside on a month-to-date basis. Now, for me personally, the last 2 weeks of cooling off, I've used that strategically to add to some of my positions. So I try to do that very methodically and strategically. I don't ever think it's a good idea to just back up the truck, go all in. So I'm letting you guys know what I do, but again, I'm not telling you to buy any of these stocks or sell any of these stocks, right? That has to be your own decision. These are very highly volatile companies. Okay, now I want to look at year to date. So this is where things get really interesting, and you're going to see this is a very, very green chart. 2022 was a bear market / crypto winter, so Bitcoin had a very difficult time. These Bitcoin miners are, for the most part, a leveraged play on Bitcoin. So it's important to understand, and we all just lived it. Leverage goes both ways. So in 2022, these were leverage plays to the downside. Every single Bitcoin miner that I follow that's publicly traded in North America was down over 90% off of their November 2021 highs by November of 2022. So that's just 1 year. So those are gigantic moves to the downside. Now, having said that, you can see now Bitcoin here in gold is up 77% year to date, and it's up about 90% off of its lows from November. So as a result of that, we are now catching leverage to the upside. This is what we were expecting. I would challenge anybody to find an industry. I'm not talking about just one stock. This is an industry. This is 18 or 19 stocks we're following as a basket. These have 5x'd so far in the year 2023. So you're going to see Core Scientific's up 1,218%. So I didn't even make the chart go up that high because it skews everything else. You can hardly even see the rest of the Bitcoin miners. And I don't want to do that because you can see these miners have had some gigantic moves. So Core Scientific, again, is in chapter 11. So actually the stock is traded over the counter. It's a pink sheet. So a lot of you may not even have access to this depending on what platform you're using to trade. Okay, so next in line is Bit Digital. This one's a big surprise to me. I've been talking about this over the last few months. Bit Digital's up 605% this year. So in 7 months, that's a 7x. That's absolutely spectacular performance. Bit Digital does have an Ethereum component to it, and this 605% is by no means indicative of their operational performance on the Bitcoin side of things. They're actually one of the lagging companies operationally from a Bitcoin mining standpoint. They're really not a top 10 Bitcoin mining company operationally speaking, just as far as the number of Bitcoin that they mine, but obviously this Ethereum piece is the only other difference, so I think people are liking that. So anyway, 605% move to the upside for Bit Digital, stock ticker BTBT. Cypher, which is a pure play Bitcoin move, 525% move to the upside. You're going to see this is one of the largest by market cap as well. Okay, then Riot, which is the largest by market cap. Riot's up 442% this year, so this is one of my biggest positions. It didn't start out that way, but this 442% move to the upside has turned it into one of my largest positions. So not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy that. Obviously, it's already had a big run up. Some of the other big market caps worth noting. Marathon's the second largest market cap. It's not far behind. It's up 388% this year, and you're going to see a bunch in the middle that are up over 400%. Hut's up 309%. Bitfarms is up 307%. Cleanspark's one that I pay close attention to. It is one of my larger positions as well, so not financial advice, but they usually find themselves in the top 3 as far as operational performance and the number of Bitcoin that they mine. This is one of those glasses half empty, glasses half full. 192% move in 7 months is absolutely spectacular, but I do think this has underperformed and it's due for some more move to the upside. So not financial advice. That's my personal opinion. Okay, then you'll see the rest of these really are hardly even a leveraged play off of Bitcoin. So, you got to ask yourself one of two things. Is that because their performance is poor and they don't deserve the leveraged play? Or is their stock just underperforming and maybe due for a run up? So that's something everybody's got to decide on themselves. I will tell you there's a few of these that I think are yet to get their turn, if you will. They haven't had their giant move to the upside. We did just see GREE had their move in July. They were stagnant all year, and they more than doubled in just the month of July. So I think a couple of these stocks that are hanging out down around where Bitcoin is at 77% up year to date, there's 3 that are actually underneath that. Argo Blockchain's up 34%, Mawson's up 33%, and Any's up 25%. So those are dramatically underperforming Bitcoin itself. So again, one of two things. Are they underperforming because they're failing, or has the market just not rotated into them yet? That's for you guys to decide. Okay, lastly is market cap. So you're going to see the top 9 remained the same. So Riot and Marathon by far are the largest by market cap. The next is BitDeer at 1.1 billion. Okay, then there's two others at 4 and 5. Cypher and HUT are at 871 million and 771 million respectively. And it's worth noting that each one of those companies at 1.2 weeks ago did trade over $1 billion. Cypher for several days. HUT actually just hit it intraday one day, but you can see they've had big pullbacks since then. So, if those are companies that you like, that may be a buying opportunity. So again, that's your personal decision. So TeraWulf, you're going to see, is number 6 at 725 million. CleanSpark at number 7 with 672 million. I will mention again, see, CleanSpark, it has the 7th largest market cap, but it continuously, from an operational standpoint, it does mine a lot more Bitcoin than Wolf and HUT and Cypher. Now, there's more factors than just the amount of Bitcoin that are mined per month. So Bit Digital, stock ticker BT, is just under $350 million. From there, it drops all the way down to $78 million. So all the rest of the Bitcoin mining companies that we talk about are either microcap or nano-cap stocks. So that's where all the market caps stand. Not much movement in here. The top 9 stayed the same. Core Scientific did jump from 12th to 10th. That's the only move really on this chart on the week. The last thing that I want to show you guys is if we look at the market cap on January 1st, this is a sum total of all the Bitcoin miners publicly traded. This is what their market cap was on January 1st, just about $2 billion. Here's what their market cap is now. I did back out BitDeer because that was not publicly traded at the beginning of the year. This industry as a whole has 5x'd in the last 7 months. I just want to leave everybody on that note. So this has been a huge run up so far in the first 7 months of the year. We'll see what's ahead, so hopefully there's more to come, but please understand these are ultra volatile stocks. These are gigantic moves to the upside. I am still bullish on Bitcoin in the long term, but you never know what's going to happen in the next days or weeks or months. So that's my update on week to date, month to date, year to date for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did and you enjoy this content, please remember to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video.